Hey, this is Zizi, and today we're going to be making this Pomni-inspired slouchy jester cosplay hat. Before we begin, I do have this pattern available for download on my Etsy shop, ZZ Cosplay, and this tutorial uses that. Of course, follow me here on YouTube for upcoming tutorials and cosplay videos. I would say this is a pretty simple project, though there are some tricky parts just because of the different striped colors on the body of the hat. I'd say that if you have some experience sewing patterns, you'll be good to go. This pattern uses about a yard of red cotton fabric, a yard of blue cotton fabric, 1 yard of yellow polar fleece, 2 jingle bells or pom-poms for the ends of the hat, and 24 inches of 1-inch elastic. As always, have thread that matches your fabric. Follow the instructions to cut out all of the pattern pieces. There is a seam allowance of a 1/2 inch, so bear that in mind in sewing through this pattern. You're going to end up with 2 yellow fleece lining pieces, and then 4 each of piece A, B, and C. 2 of each in blue, and 2 of each in red. Start by taking both lining pieces and matching notches, stitch one piece to the other along both the front and back of the lower half of the hat. Go ahead and open the lining. Make sure that that center seam is open, and this time you want to match the notches on the top of the hat. You can see I'm getting my pins out. This time we are going to be stitching along the top of the hat. Once we've finished stitching the top of the hat, we want to make sure to clip those points just for a neater finish. Now we're moving on to the outer body of the hat, and this is where it gets tricky as we're going to be working with a bunch of different colored pieces of fabric that need to be organized so that we get the desired result. We're going to start by taking a blue B piece and making sure that it's facing this way with the point going towards the left. We're going to then take a red A piece and lay that right on top, matching notches. Breaking out those pins again, we are going to pin those two together along that side, again making sure that the notches are lining up. And then stitch all along that edge. So we're going to repeat that with the pieces facing the same direction, again, a blue piece B and a red piece A. Then we're going to alternate, this time with a red piece B facing right, as you see here, and we'll get the other one down, and then a blue piece A on top of each of those, again, making sure that you're matching the notches. And we're going to sew the rest of these all along that edge there. And when you're done sewing those, you will have 4 total A-B pieces, 2 blue-red and 2 red-blue. Then take a red piece C and lay it on top of the blue part of this AB piece, pinning all along the edge. We're going to take the other blue-red AB piece, exactly like that, and set it up the same way as we just did. And then we're going to alternate. We're going to take blue piece Cs and put those on the 2 remaining AB pieces. And making sure that, again, we're matching those notches, we're going to stitch all along that edge on each of these 4 pieces. So now you have 4 ABC body pieces. And what you're going to want to do at this point is take that, open it up, and make sure to press those seams away from the center. So after we've pressed those seams, we are going to arrange these with right sides together. And again, making sure that we're alternating those colors, we're going to stitch along both of the outer sides. Now that we've stitched along both of the outer sides of these body pieces, you can see it's very striped and circusy looking. We are going to stack them on top of each other, Like we did with the lining, we're going to go ahead and stitch both the front and back of the lower portion of the hat, that center seam of both the front and back. Once we've stitched the center seam for the back and front of the hat, we're going to open it up, just like we did with the lining. So at this point, you'll want to take it and press that center seam on both the front and the back of the hat. You'll want to just press that open. And just like the lining, sew the upper part of the hat. And once that's done, just remember to clip those points. At this stage, you can take your bells or pom-poms. I used pom-poms here. And we're going to affix those to the points of the jester cap. For pom-poms, especially if you've made them, you just take those leftover tails and thread them up through the points of the hat. Right now we have the wrong side of the hat facing out. So again, these bells or pom-poms end up on the right side of the hat. So you're going to take the yarn and go from the right side, which is currently on the inside as we're looking at it, and poke it up into the wrong side, which is currently on the outside. If you want to use jingle bells, what I like to use for that is some pretty sturdy ribbon. It just is, again, very sturdy, and make sure that that bell will stay on the hat. Once both the tails are coming through to the lining side of the hat, you're just going to want to tie those off really securely. And once this is done, just repeat with the other pom-pom. A quick note too, I like to leave the tails for this next step, so don't cut those right now. Now we're going to be putting the lining into the hat, and this is why I told you to leave the tails, because I find it easiest to just tie the points of the lining with the leftover tails from the bells or pom-poms and then flip the hat right side out. So with the wrong side of the lining facing out, and of course the wrong side of the body facing out, you just are going to tie those ends of the lining into the ends of the body. With those secured, you're just going to go ahead and flip the body right side out, right over the lining. Again, you don't need to do it this way. You can absolutely just work the ends of the lining up into the ends of the body. I just find that this is a lot easier to get those points lined up correctly. Fold both the lining and the body up twice. You can decide just how wide of a brim you want. I usually like mine about an inch and a half to 2 inches wide. And then stitch around the top of the brim, making sure you leave an opening for the elastic. And using that 24 inches of 1 inch elastic, you just want to thread that elastic through the brim of the hat, being careful not to lose the end in the brim. Once the elastic is threaded through, you're going to want to secure that elastic. Just stitch over it, overlap about an inch and stitch over it a bunch of times. Now straighten out the elastic into the brim, and for the final touch, just stitch closed that brim. And you're finished. Enjoy your new hat. If you have any questions, drop me a line in the comments below, and also let me know if there are any other patterns you'd like me to attempt. Happy sewing! And thank you so much for watching ZZ Cosplay.